What's going on, man? We're about to go live on the podcast. Stand by. Just stand by. Starting in 2 minutes, guys. Podcast starting in 2 minutes. Make sure you stand by. Get ready. Podcast starting in 2 minutes. Tonight's topic is learning to be high value. Let's learn to be high value, guys. That's tonight's topic. We're going to be talking about us portraying, being a certain way, the way we should be. All these women want high value men, so let's become them. And honestly, it's more conducive to us. It'll combat all the things that's going on in society. It'll combat all the things that will, emasculation of man. And that's going to be tonight's topic. So we're consistent. We were just here yesterday. We're back here today. We're going to be consistent. Make sure you're listening and make sure you're subscribed. How about that? Are you subscribed? Do you know what today's podcast is? Did you listen to yesterday's podcast? Don't come at me. All right, guys. We're about to get started soon. 40 seconds. We're getting started. If you guys are ready or not. All right, we're about to get started. All right, we are starting now. All right, guys, back here again. This is podcast number 138. Tonight, we're going to be talking about learning to be high value. I think it's funny nowadays, everybody wants a high value man. And there are a lot of things that go against us in society. There's a lot of things that you young guys don't know yet. There's a lot of things that I wish I knew at your age. So that's what we're going to be talking about, because I know the demographic is relatively young. I'm 29 now, and I'm just now getting to the place where I'm telling you guys to be. So I just arrived here to all these things, and I'm finally in the place where all these things are implemented in my life. So we're going to talk about being high value, learning to be high value. And remember, if you act a certain way long enough, that becomes who you are. All right. So if you know how the podcast goes, we start the song, and then after song, we get into the podcast. So don't go anywhere. Stay put. Grab your popcorn. We're going to be here for a half an hour on tonight's podcast, learning to be high value. This song is J.O. and Tory Woods, a.k.a. Randy. The song is called Left Field on all streaming platforms. All right, let's get into it. Let's get some likes in the chat, guys.
Ransom got that sauce in it. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it, cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Get some love you never had like this. Yeah, call me out. Look, shorty, she a vibe, she a ting. Fire, something like a vibe, everything. On my bad, I'm just stating all the obvious things. We could put the small talk and I can buy you a ring on the ready. Shorty on fire, got me gassed up. To the moon, got me feeling like it's NASA. Yeah, she a boss, on God, got a bag up. X-Men was lame, no surprise, he ain't last much. She ain't never had no love like this. But she looking for a love like this. Come and put it on me, give me something I can miss. We can keep between us, everything tight lips. Yeah, we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Do it so good, I ain't thinking about no sloppies. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die? Giving so much of yourself, it seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Call me out. Yeah, my back been right. I done seen you looking at me and that ass real right. Tryna give you something good, I'ma make you feel nice. Tryna take you out the hood to a sea first flight. We be dancing on the beach, get the sand on your feet. Wind through your hair, warm in with the breeze. And we straight to my sheets, champagne and Belize. If you want a little pain, I can give it to you easy. Damn, baby, I could give it to you proper. Forget every other man, I want you. Damn, baby, I could do you how you wanna. Damn, baby, I could. And we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Doing it so good, I ain't thinking about no sloppies. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die? Giving so much of yourself.
Get some likes in the chat, guys. Come on. Let's get the likes in the chat. We need to start getting some likes in this.
And I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of that field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. You call me out of that field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Call me out.
All right, guys, that was Left Field by J.O. and Tory Woods, aka Randy, on all streaming platforms. Make sure you go download that today. All right, guys, let's get into tonight's topic. This is a good one. And lately, if you guys noticed, I've been focusing on more of guys raising their value in itself, right? I know you guys come to me for the game. I know you guys come to me for the relationship issues because what I do is relationship dynamics. But I want you guys to really focus on yourself, right? How do you become a higher value person? You have to work on yourself. You have to become a person that you actually want to become. When you take a look at the rich and they talk about the habits of the rich and the things that they do, these are the things I'm starting to implement because, you know, becoming a millionaire, becoming a billionaire before 50, these are the goals that I set for myself. And you guys are like a family to me. So I would want the same thing for you guys. Now, I know everybody that listens isn't going to be a millionaire, but you can still be above average. Even if all my followers, every single one of my followers became millionaires or became where they had a net worth over 500,000, that's still falling into closer to the 1%, right? And it's still a small majority of people compared to the masses. So all of you guys can be successful. And you want more women, your woman will start giving you less of a hard time if you work on yourself, right? A lot of people want to be rich, but in order to get rich, you first have to work on yourself. You know, if they say, well, millionaires do this, that, and the third, they read every day, they wake up early, they work out every day, at least 5 to 6 days a week, right? This is what you have to do. You have to work on yourself. But let's start with first things first. You guys, you got to stop putting women on a pedestal. You got to stop. Because this is where things start. And guys don't understand this. When you put women on a pedestal, you kind of mess up your perceptions of things, right? And putting women on a pedestal is following an abundance of women that don't follow you back. You would say, KB, how is that putting on a pedestal? She doesn't even know you exist. This girl has millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. She doesn't have enough respect to follow you back. I stopped doing that. There's probably only 1 or 2 females that I follow that don't follow me back. And I only follow them for the reason that I like the way they dress. I like their style. I like their lifestyle. And this is something that motivates me. And it's something that, when I show my girl, like, hey, I like the way she dressed, you should try to maybe steal some of her style, right? A lot of girls may get upset with that, but not the woman that I am, right? Because they believe in bettering themselves just like I do. So stop putting women on a pedestal. Another thing is, you do have, and I see this more amongst like the Black community, where they call women gods. Like they have this thing where they call the Black woman God, or just even maybe it's just not Black men. But there's this thing where you're calling women gods, right? And I think this is so funny where, I've had girlfriends who cry because they can't choose what food they want. I had girlfriends who are the most indecisive creatures. Yes, I understand there are a lot of capabilities that certain women have. They bear children. We should respect women, but you got to stop calling women gods. When you say a woman is a god, you're putting her on a certain pedestal, even if you don't mean that she's the creator. If you're calling her a god, you're putting her above average. You're saying that this person is above average. She is not your regular, normal human being. So when you do that, you're messing up your perception ahead. How you expect her to treat you like a man of value? How you expect to be treated like a higher value man if you're calling her a god? If I'm a god, I'm going to treat you like a peasant. I'm going to treat you like someone who is worshiping me. And honestly, that's what you guys are doing. If you're subscribed to any OnlyFans, unsubscribe now. I know like maybe 10 Twitter pages that will give you that stuff for free. That will give you it for free. And even if you don't want to pay, even if you have to pay for it, you'll pay maybe the price that you're paying monthly, you'll pay for it one time and you'll have everything. But you're putting these women on a pedestal. Stop calling them God. Unsubscribe to women that are not following you, right? What's the point? It's pictures. I get it. She's a beautiful girl. Maybe you could have an exception for maybe 1 or 2. But you can go on xnxx.com. You can go on any one of these new websites and find a girl that looks just like her and whatever. But a high value man wants the real thing. I want the real thing. I want the real thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm human. I might slip up and go on some of these sites sometimes, but I'm not following a whole bunch of girls who's not following back. I'm not subscribed to anybody's OnlyFans. I might have been subscribed to one OnlyFans, but this was like Bandman Kevo, and he was teaching techniques on credit, right? So that's a little different. It was for my education, right? And how are you going to be high value and you're worshiping women? I was watching some interview, a street interview, and the guy was like, having sex is the best thing to heaven with a woman. Right. And he's asking polarizing questions about women. He's like, well, I'm the wrong person to ask because I think a Black woman is God. What? I'm of the belief that women were made for us. And if you practice any of the Abrahamic religions, you share that same belief. And if you don't, then maybe you should, consider a new religion or actually start practicing yours. Whether that be Christian, the Bible, Quran. It's even worse in the Bible. They say a woman should submit to her husband as if he's the Lord. But you let a woman come in your life, you're putting on a pedestal, you're afraid to get her upset, you're afraid to lose her. Right? You're afraid that, if you don't give her the bright and proper type of attention, she's going to leave you. You realize there's more of them than there is us, right? The scarcity, and learning to be high value. You got to remember, there's a saying that if you tell yourself a lie long enough, you actually start to believe it. They have the saying, if you act a certain way long enough, it becomes a part of who you are. Right. So what we have to do is we have to start setting new standards for ourselves. We have to set the bar a little higher as men, because for men, the bar is really low. And there's a lot of things in society that are pushing us to keep the bar real low. Right. You know, there's a lot of things that are going against us. If you listen to the podcast I did yesterday, we talked about the attack on masculinity. And our masculinity is the very thing that drives us as men. You have men who unalive themselves because they're not working. They can't get a job. So they fall into this depression and they feel like they don't have anything to take care of someone. They feel like they don't have the means to take care of themselves. And we talked about how I feel about that. It's a very selfish place to be. You can seek help, but I don't think that's a place that anybody should be. Now, you guys know I'm relatively religious, so you know they say when you do that, that's a place that you grant yourself in hell forever. Now, you don't have to be super religious, but I just think it's a weak position to take, so I don't respect it either way, especially if you have a family. So let's set the bar a little high. Let's start working out. Make sure we're working out. I like to work out every day. I take one day off. I work out 6 days a week. Maybe that's a bit exceptional because I'm a fighter. I'm a professional fighter, right? And I feel like at the age of 29, I have a lot of catching up to do. So I try to work out twice a day. I still try to come and handle business stuff. I still try to give you guys at least five to six TikToks a day. I still try to give you guys a podcast a day. So for your average person, I understand what I'm doing is not average, but I try to be above average. That's intentional. But let's try to work out 4 to 5 days a week. How are you going to be higher value? How do you expect your woman to think you're higher value and neither one of you work out? You're telling her, oh, maybe she should work out. No, how about you work out? Because, and I'm going to say this a lot, women love men who they think is better than them. How is that evident? Because how many times have you heard a woman say, I'm not going to date him unless he makes more money than me or the same? How many times do you see women normally date up? They don't date down. They're not going to date a guy that's broke and is working at McDonald's. They're not going to date a guy who's working at a department store. They want a guy who they feel as if he's better than her. And that's the honest truth. So let's make sure we're working out. Lead by example. And then when your girl like, oh, he's working out, he's changing. What, you trying to get fit for another girl? Are you trying to get fit for other women? Maybe. Show her that I'm the leader. I'm on a different level. You submit to me. Make sure you're working out 4 to 5 days a week. If you can do every day, even better. Dedicate yourself. Start disciplining yourself. Don't get caught lacking either. When you go outside, make sure you're presentable. Even if you have a bummy outfit on where it's sweatpants and some Yeezy slippers, make sure that shit is sharp. Make sure that t-shirt is crisp. Make sure you got some new sweatpants on. I don't care. Even if you go on Alibaba Wish and you get like a fake home, what was it? The Depot shirts. I forget those designer shirts. Nobody's gonna know if it's real or not. Who cares? Go get it. Go buy it. Because how many people are gonna come to me? Oh, I can tell that shirt is fake, bro. Listen, the Chinese have perfected the art of replication. Don't get caught lacking. You go on dates, make sure you look better than your girl. This was something that I was taught. I remember a fighter by the name of Jadon Codrington. I think that's how you say his last name. He was like, you got to look better than your girl. No homo. He was a pretty boy, right? He was a fighter. And he was like, you got to look better than your girl at all times. And it's a bit of an arrogant thing to say, but you got to understand, I'm like 11, 12, and he's telling me this. It's affected my mind. So when I got a little older and I start going on dates, I'm like, yeah, I got to make sure I look better than my girl. This is a mindset. But not only is it a mindset in my appearance, I'm coming off that way. And I'm being perceived as higher value. So much so it affected how I look. I make sure I took care of myself. I make sure I was up to par. And they treated me as such. They didn't treat me how they treated the next guy. I was a little more privileged. It's so much so the longest I ever waited for a girl to give it up was a month in my life. Never. And if I waited more than that, I just stopped talking to her. Because I had this perception of being higher value. Don't get caught lacking. When you go out, make sure you look prestige. Get a haircut every week. If you can't afford a haircut every week, buy you some clippers and start learning how to cut your hair. I do it. When I get my hair, if I cut my hair and I don't have the time to go to a barbershop, or in the past where maybe my funds were a little low, I make sure I got a little raise, I cut my hair, If my eyebrows getting a little crazy, line my eyebrows, line my beard, you know, make sure my hair is decent. Never get caught lacking. Let's start there. You know, portray higher value. Make sure you look better than your girl. If you know you're not the best looking guy, make sure your fit is tight. You know, let's start disciplining ourselves. I know a lot of you guys don't even make up your bed. Make up your bed every day. And by the way, these habits that I'm giving you are habits of the rich. Right? And it's not hard. Make up your bed every day. Every Sunday, clean your place. If you have your own place, clean your place. Clean your room. I watched a TikTok where a girl went over this guy's place. He had his own place, and his place was filthy and disgusting. Filthy and disgusting. And she exposed him for it. How many guys you inviting girls over and your place looks disgusting? And how is she going to think you high value? She's coming to your place and your place is disgusting. And then that girl, she thought he was gonna, he thought he was gonna get some out of her. He got nothing. She was disgusted with him. She looked at his place and said, it's dirty. He's probably dirty. He probably has an STD or STI or some type of infection lingering around him. With a place like that, there's no way this guy cleans himself every day. How are you supposed to portray higher value and your place looks disgusting? Your room looks dirty. How? How is she supposed to think that you're better than her? And you can't even play in her hypergamy. She's looking down on you already. Make sure you clean your room, clean your place. You know, I clean mine every Sunday. I clean my place every Sunday. I clean my bathroom every Sunday. If I have a guest over, like, oh my God, your bathroom's so clean, right? You know, any girl that's consistent in my life, they might see me slacking a little bit as far as cleaning goes, but my week gets really busy. I try not to hang out during the week anyway. So if I'm talking to the girl, I only see her about maybe once or twice a week the most, because my purpose comes first. That's another thing. Put your purpose first. You know, another thing, stop tolerating disrespect. So much so, this is something, I'm not going to lie, I did it more or less in recent years. When I was younger, I didn't do it so much. But so much so, if I feel as if a girl is not meeting my standards, I will tell her straight up. Sorry, my cat. I will tell her straight up. Honestly, I just don't think you're the type of person for me. There's been times where a girl was like, yeah, I'm talking to about 2 other guys right now. I'm still messing with my ex. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I respect that. I respect your honesty, but honestly, I'm going to have to cut things off here. Because honestly, I don't think you're the kind of girl for me. I have standards. I don't want to mess with a girl that's just completely still messing around with her ex. I don't want to mess with a girl that's talking to 3 and 5 guys. And you know what happens? You have very few girls that just say, oh, okay, bye. No, they don't do that. You know what they do? They explain themselves. And why do they explain themselves? 1, because they don't want to be perceived in a bad way. 2, you're all of a sudden you're coming off as higher value because they never get rejected. So now they're trying harder. The simple fact that you can reject her off rip because because she doesn't meet a standard of hers, that's something that women never see. Most women don't even face rejection, and if they do, they don't like it. But if they have a chance to try to correct it, they will. And that's what most of them do. And most guys don't reject, because I know I didn't do it. And I had a lot of options when I was younger. But nowadays, if a girl doesn't meet my standards, she's talking to too many guys, I'm like, hey, honestly, you're a great person. You probably are a really good person, but I don't think you're for me. So I'm just going to like kind of exit here and cut things off respectfully. And then she'd be like, oh, but why? Because you talked about 5 and 6 guys. I don't think that's a person that has a future with me. Yeah, but like you're judging. Yeah, I understand. But I've talked to girls who off rip wasn't talking to 5 and 6 guys at a time. And then another thing is, you got to assume there are a lot of girls that are having sex with a lot of these guys at once. There are girls who have rotations. You think that they're going to tell you the truth? No, but you have to have some indicators. You have to have a good filtering mechanism. I don't care how good she looks. Even if you say, oh, I just want to pipe it. Yeah, you know what? I'm at the age, I'm 29. I don't care. There are plenty of women that I can just like, go and pipe down if I want. I'm going to reject her. And you know what's going to happen? She's going to try harder. And then they all get to explain, oh, but I'm not messing. Oh, I get that, and that's fine. But, I'm not in the realm where I want to talk to girls that are talking to multiple guys. I know my worth. I know what I'm worth. I know what I bring to the table. And what I'm going to do for you, what the things I'm going to teach you, the type of value that I'm going to provide, I'm okay. And I would say 90% of them usually try to explain themselves, and another 50% Still, they can't accept rejection. They still want to keep talking to me. Set the bar higher for yourself. Don't be so thirsty. And I get it. Your average guy doesn't get girls like that. Your average guy isn't having sex like that, right? So it's a little harder. But the point of today's podcast is portraying higher value. If you can reject a girl off the rip, that sends a message to her that, one, he's used to getting girls. He's probably talked to girls better than me. The fact that he rejects me, he seems more unavailable. I think it was the Journal of Psychology. They put out a study that guys who are deemed more unavailable are deemed more attractive, which makes you what? Higher value. And then what's going to happen? She's going to think that you're better than her. You're playing on her hypergamy. You don't always have to be rich to be considered high value in her eyes. Ultimately, you just have to show that potential. And another thing, girls who are nasty too. Like girls, if you're going on a date with a girl, she's burping and digging in her nose and saying, oh, I'm not gonna lie, like I gotta go pass gas. Girls, when they say things like that, they're shit testing you and it's disrespectful. I wish I'd go on a date with a girl and she tell me, oh, she starts burping and start passing gas. If we're out on a date, I might not do it right then and there. But what I will do is, the end of that night, I will tell her straight up, honestly, I'm not really feeling this. It was a good date, but you did some things that really grossed me out. So I'm just going to have to cut things off here. But you guys are so thirsty. You guys don't understand what it means to be higher value that you are so afraid to cut the girl off. And it's ridiculous. Cut her off. The last time that happened to me, that girl begged for a second date. She was like, oh, honestly, like I just wasn't feeling myself. Came up with every excuse in the book. And she was bad. I mean, her face was whatever, but her body was banging. But I was so disgusted. I'm like, yeah, no, I got too much dealing on my plate right now. I don't really care for it. Still didn't give it another chance because honestly, I was dealing with too much, honestly. Anyway, put your health first, there's a lot of things about fasting. I know fasting is, so I was doing some research on fasting. They said, people, the less you eat, the longer you'll live, right? And honestly, I fast just about every day. Intermediate fasting, I do it every day. There's been times where a little more extreme fasting where I fast for a day, 24 hours, 48 hours. The most I ever did was 72 hours. And this is a water fast, no food. After fasting for, I think, 24 hours, your body resets itself. There are people who've got rid of diseases. There are people who got rid of AIDS, HIV, herpes from fasting. I've done the research on it. But obviously, you got to fast for about a week's time. It's a little difficult. But the less you eat, the longer you live. Stay healthy. Put your body to do things that are hard for you. Make sure you're in the gym every day. Try to eat a little healthier. I read that drinking alcohol consistently will, if you're drinking alcohol consistently, it takes a toll on your life. They said people who don't drink alcohol consistently, they add an additional 15 years to their life. Alcoholics shave their life about 15 to 20 years. Granted, I've never gotten drunk a day in my life, but that's because I'm Muslim, right? I practice Islam. I'm not the most religious person, but I keep a level of religiosity. And that's one of the big ones, because if I drink, my prayers won't be accepted for 40 days and 40 nights. You know anything about Muslims, you have to pray 5 times a day, right? So that much I do. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do any type of drugs. People that are in gatherings and they're smoking and drinking, I separate myself. Why? Because I'm better than that. And I'll tell people straight up, oh, that's beneath me. I've told girls straight up, oh, that's beneath me. They be like, oh, you think you fancy? No, I don't think I'm fancy. I don't think I'm this. I don't think I'm that. I don't smoke. It's beneath me. I'm an athlete. I'm a Muslim. I let them know from the jump. You think that they're going to reject me? No, they respect me more because I'm displaying higher value. And every girl that I've taken serious have stopped smoking and stopped drinking. All of them. And if they ever want a relationship out of me, that's something they got to do. It's a standard. It's one of my boundaries. And if they don't do it, they'll never get that number one position as far as girls go. Why? Because I have standards and values, and I have respect for myself. You know? Try to be healthy. Discipline yourself. Do something every day that'll create discipline for you. I'm on a 60-day streak. I'll give you guys a little secret into my world. I'm on a 60-day streak. For 60 days, I've woken up. I started at waking up at 6. I go to sleep early, relatively early, around 12, because my sleep schedule was off. You guys know me. You know anything about the podcast and streaming. I'll be up at 4 in the morning streaming, right? I go to sleep early. I wake up. I go outside in my backyard. I pray Fajr. I pray. I meditate. I do affirmation and tasbih for about an hour, 40 minutes maybe. And then I go and write my affirmations. I do Spanish work. I'm learning a language. I'm learning to speak Spanish. I have a tutor. And then I do a little work in the morning. I wake up at 5:30 now. Every morning, 5:30 a.m. I don't have to. I do it because it's difficult for me. I'm on a 60-day streak. I'm going to do that every single day. And I'm not letting up. That's hard. I hate waking up at 5:30 in the morning. I run just almost about every day. I run about 5 to 6 days a week. Jogging. Last month, I did 4 miles just about almost every day. Unless I didn't have time, I did like 2 or 3. I ran 20 days. No, I ran 22 days last month. There's only 30 days in the month. 31 days in the month of August. That's discipline. I hate running. I hate waking up early. But I do it because it's hard for me. I do it because it creates discipline. These are the things that's going to make you better. And then when girls see that, your girlfriend sees that you're doing this, a girl that you're talking to, she knows your schedule. She knows that you don't mess around. She's going to have more respect for you than that other lame dude, because all he does is go to work and comes home, play games. He might go to the gym to play a little basketball every once in a while, but he doesn't have discipline. He's not bettering himself. He doesn't have his finances in order. He's not trying to work on his finances getting in order. You don't necessarily always have to be rich, but when girls see that potential, they will treat you as if that's a goal or something you're going to reach, because these girls, they speak to guys, even if they're not sleeping with all of them. They're going to compare you. They know what you're doing is above average. That's why it's a lot easier for me. But you guys, you just want to be lazy. How do you want to be considered higher value and you don't do higher value things? You have to develop an intensity to try to be a little above average. I try to develop an intensity. This is something I learned from Jim Rome. Try to develop a little intensity to be a little above average. Learn a little above average ability to win. A little above average ability to have fun. A little above average ability to focus. Try to be a little above average. Realize and search what are average people doing and try to go a little further than that. Separate yourself. Keep your house clean. Keep your car clean. Another thing is, I see a lot of guys saying, oh, if she's not paying her half of the bills, stop going 50-50 with stuff on girls. And I'm not saying you got to pay for everything, right? But when it comes to your own shit, get your own place. Have your own car. Stop using, this isn't baby boy. You're not Tyrese. Stop relying on your girl and your mother for stuff. Get your own stuff. You're a man. They should be relying on you. That whole 50-50 stuff is an illusion, because she's not going to have as much respect for you. Some girls don't mind because women are very nurturing. I know a lot of guys who be like, oh, my girl's tripping. Oh, she's trying to kick me out. Why are you living with her in the first place? Don't share a lease. Get your own place. And then be able to pay your own rent. So in case you guys break up, you don't run into these issues. You guys want to move in? Okay, that's fine. Let her move into your place. So in case of a breakup, she has to go. You pay the bills. Don't put her name on nothing. Be able to rely on yourself. And it's weak. You guys, my girl, she making mad money. Nah, she got to pay bills. Okay, cool. You want her to pay something, but still have your own stuff. Don't allow her to talk shit and say, oh, he a bum, he did this, he did that. No. At least let her have respect for you. Plenty of girls I dated be like, yeah, he wasn't the best, he wasn't the lawyer, he wasn't the best in bed, but he handled his business. Be that guy. Stop thinking, oh, I gotta rely on her to do this, I gotta rely on her to do that. Don't do that. Don't share rent. Don't share cars. Get your own car. If you can't afford a brand new car that's $20,000, $30,000, go get a cheap little hoopty, $2,000, $3,000. You can save up $3,000 in a month, 2 months, the longest. You can get your little hoopty, get your license. I know in New York, a lot of guys use public transportation. Get a car. I remember after I broke up with my ex, I was dating so many girls, and I got so many girls simply because I had a car. You guys don't even drive. You can't even pick her up on a date. You should feel ashamed of yourself if she's coming to pick you up on a date because you don't have a car. I have so many girls tell me, oh, you got a car, you got your own place, it's lit. Or you got good credit, it's lit. That's what I want. Are you a registered nurse? Oh, that's lit. That's the type of woman I need in my life. Oh, what do you do? I work at Burger King. I work at Best Buy. You should feel ashamed of yourself. It's disgusting. And you wonder why you can't be perceived as high value. You wonder why they don't respect you. Right? Yeah, maybe you're good at sex. Okay, you're good at sex, that's fine. But that's only gonna last you but so long. It's only gonna last you but so long. It's not a place you want to be. You know, get your credit together too. Get your credit together. There are a lot of different things you can get your credit together. Look for authorized users, somebody who has good credit. They have a good card with no late payments. Ask them to be an authorized user. You will get all the good credit that they have. If they had that card for years and they have no late payments and no outstanding balances, ask them to make an authorized user. That won't hurt them in any way. As long as they don't have any late payments, you know they're good. That you'll get, if their credit is really high, that'll boost your credit. You want to rely on a girl for something, do that. Use her for that. Use her for getting your credit together. That one thing I do condone. Get your credit right. Right? Get your finances in order. Try to abide by this the 70-30 rule or 70-10-10-10. You know, use 10 for investing. Use 10 for a money machine, something that's going to bring you money back. 10 for giving to charity, or you can do 10 for savings towards something that you should have. 70% for bills and living. Every paycheck, every time you get paid, you got to pay yourself first. That's something I learned from Jim Rohn. It's something that I started implementing thoroughly just now. You know, you can buy gold. There's like a point of ounce of gold. It might cost you like $50 or $100, $70. That might seem very small, but if you buy that every paycheck, these are assets. Gold, or even if you spend $1,000 on gold. Gold is assets that retain its value. You know, even if you say we're in a recession, we're headed for a recession, we're headed for a depression, you can buy these things and that'll pile up over time. And then when you need your assets, you need your money, you can go sell it. There are people that will give you your full price and gold for it. There are investment tanks where you can go and invest $1,000 or $50, $100 into property. You don't always have to have hundreds of thousands. There are think tanks. There are so many things that you can do. You can just have a portion of money every month. I'm gonna put $1,000 into this property, and that money can be allocated towards buying other assets for big companies. They'll use that money, and that percentage, you'll have a stake in that property. Property is recession proof. Property is depression proof. These are things that you can do every month. Spend $500. I have rich clients. They tell me every month, put anywhere from $100 to $500 every month into the S&P 500. In about 5 to 10 years, you have so much money. 5 to 10 years sounds like a lot, right? And you'll be like, oh, damn, I need the money now. But think about it like this. And this is a mistake that I've made in the past. I was like, oh, damn, 5 to 6 years, that seems so long away, right? It seems so far away. But you know what happened? 5, 6, and 10 years, they still passed. They still happen. 5 and 10, 6 years still have to pass either way. So 5 and 10, 6 years ago, when I was giving this advice and I ignored it, I'm here now. And if I would have been investing and doing what I was told, I'd be up way better than I am. Don't get impatient and think because, oh, I need the money now, I want it now. Stupid. The time has to pass either way. Invest the money. You can invest in things that you can get money for now, and you can invest in things on a long term. It's just chess, not checkers. The people that are best at life succeed at it. Invest the money. Do the little things you can do, right? I'm not good at trading. So you know what I did? I invested in something called Novatech. Now, I do have some richer clients who advised against it, some that advised for it, but it's a hedge fund, and basically what they do is they take your money and you buy and they trade the crypto for you, and every week I get paid. You get paid anywhere from 1% to 6%. Usually on average, it's anywhere from 2% to 3%. I started with $100. No, I started with $200. Right now I'm at like $380. No, I started with $200. Right now I'm at $380. I get paid every week, anywhere from like $10 to $20 to $30. And then every month I take that profit and I put it back in. Every week, actually. You get paid every week and I put it back in. That's compounding. I have friends who started with $500. My friend is at $6,000 now. And then every person you refer, you get an additional 2% every week. If you guys are interested in Novatech, hit the link in my bio on TikTok, our Instagram, our YouTube, and I have a referral link. But these are little things that is going to compound over time. I know guys that have $80,000 in there, and every week they put money. They put 200, 300. That shit compounds. A lot of people don't trust it because the company's been around for 3 years, but oh well, you got to take a risk. Life is a risk. You got a lot of guys that are doing nothing. You'll spend this money bullshitting, doing nothing anyway. Why not invest it? Take a risk. Yeah, I know guys that complain all the time. Oh, I'm about my money. I'm about this. I'm about that. But you ain't making nothing. Your girl's making more money than you. How's she supposed to respect you? How's she supposed to think you're higher value? She pulling in more bread than you. Even if she has respect for you, it's something she's thinking deep down. And if she is making more bread for you, don't let it last long. Get your shit together. Don't let your girl outwork you. Don't let it happen. And it does. It changes relationships. It does. You got to understand that women love men who they think is better than them. It plays on their hypergamy. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Women date up. They don't date down. In very few cases, some women do. There's always exceptions. I'm not saying it never happens. There's always exceptions. Everybody wants to call me while I'm online, dude. Like, come on. There's always exceptions. You know? Read 15 minutes a day. This world is always changing. So many people are missing out. I know young kids that are millionaires off of crypto. I missed out on it because I wasn't reading. I wasn't updating myself. The knowledge that you learned 5 and 6 years ago is probably no good today in most cases because the world is always changing. There's always new laws. There's always new ways of making money. Things are always changing. There's always new rules. Research is we're finding new things out, new habits. We're learning the things. We still don't know everything about the human body. I was watching a lecture yesterday. This guy basically said something about brown fat. He said, we don't know everything about it. What do you mean you don't know everything about it? What do you mean? How long have humans been around? You're still learning about humans? Are you serious? That's crazy to me. You have to be learning. You have to read every day, even if for 5 and 10 minutes. Discipline yourself. Update yourself. Better yourself as a man. You guys aren't doing this. You want to be seen that has value, you have to start working on yourself first. Learn a language. I'm learning to speak Spanish. Yo habla español. Yo necesito hablar español. For real, I need to learn it. Aprender español. I'm learning, you know? Because how does it look? You're out with a shorty and you can speak a language and she can't. Or if she can speak a language, but you can match her, you can understand. They see me, they probably just think I'm some regular black guy. They start speaking, I can understand a little bit. They're like, oh, ¿tú hablas español? No, but I understand a little bit. Just a little bit. And I'm learning every day. Every day I work at it. Every day. Because I'm taking my value from here to fucking through the ceiling. And then you know what's so crazy? A lot of girls, after they talk to me and then they talk to other guys, they come back and tell me, yeah, I was trying to, like, guys, it's not a lot of guys out here. They're just different. I set the bar really high. So when you guys come and try to talk to my girl after I'm done with her, there's a lot of things you got to compete with. And it's not only just sex. It's intelligence, my ability to lead. I have hundreds of thousands of listens, maybe even more between all the platforms. Millions on TikTok. Men who pay for my advice. What does that show? Leadership qualities. Because I'm always learning. So guys that talk to the girls that I talk, it's kind of ruined. Unless it was just a bad interaction to begin with. A lot of things are subjective, yeah. But learn to work on yourself. I get it. There are a lot of situations you need help with. Okay, learn the game too. But work on yourself harder than you work on your job. Work on yourself harder than you do anything else. You guys work 10, 12, 13, 15 hours, and then you come home and do nothing. You don't work on yourself. You're working 20 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours a week, but then you come home and you're not working on yourself. What's up with that? You're fulfilling somebody else's dreams. You're fulfilling somebody else's goal, but you're not working on yourself. You're not making yourself better. So how are you ever going to be deemed higher value? You're not. That's the point. You're not. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. Learn to be high value. If you act a certain way long enough, you actually become that way. Even if you tell yourself a lie long enough, consistently. If you want to be the person that you want to become, you have to start doing those things that people do. You want to be rich? Start doing the things that people do. And this is where I messed up for the longest. I was like, damn, I want to be rich and shit. Like I said, I would meet this goal by 25. I'm 29 and I haven't accomplished it yet. What did I have to do? Well, I started searching things that rich people do. They wake up early, they work out early, they get a lot done with their day, they're productive, they run businesses, they do so many things, they're really focused, they meditate. And I said, damn, I don't wake up early. Damn, I do meditate. I used to meditate a lot, but I don't do it as much. I don't pray like as much as I should. I don't do all my prayers every day. I don't make all my salah, you know? I don't read every day. So what did I start doing? I started doing those things and then staying consistent, disciplining myself, working on myself. Eventually, I will hit my goal. I affirm, I stay positive to myself. So I'm working on it. So you have to do the things that those people are doing. You want to be a fighter. Do the things you want to be the best fighter in the world. Look at the things that successful people are doing and replicate it. That's one thing I learned from listening to Tony Robbins. Success breeds success. You want to have success in anything? Look at the most successful person in your field and replicate what they're doing. And then make it even better. If you can do more than what they're doing, if possible, do it. You have to order to be that person and be in that place, you have to do the things that those people do. And it's very that simple. Work on yourself first so you become high value. Don't try to work and then, you know, you're not working on yourself. It's counterproductive. You have to become that shit. This shit is a lifestyle. All right, guys, we're going to end this one off. Make sure you guys hit the link in the bio, subscribe to Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, the Spotify podcast, link in the bio. If you guys want to invest in Novatech, the link in the bio, there's a referral link. Very easy. You can start with $100 today. I think under $500, there's like a $20, $25 fee. So you're better off putting a little, like maybe 130, 140, 150 if you want to invest in that today. You know, and subscribe to Patreon, learn game, but work on yourself first. And if you can't afford Patreon, subscribe to the podcast. It's free. Work on yourself first and then learn the game. Or you can do both at the same time. But I want everybody to be higher value. If you come from my school of thought, I want you to be the best. All right? We're going to end this one off with J.O. and Tory Woods, a.k.a. Randy. It's called Left Field. And then we're going to get out of here.
Resin got that sauce in it. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Guess some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Guess some love you never had like this. Yeah, call me out. Look, shorty, she a vibe, she a ting. Fire, something like a vibe, everything. Oh my bad, I'm just stating all the obvious things. We could put the small talk and I could buy you a ring, girl, I'm ready. Shorty on fire, got me gassed up. To the moon, got me feeling like it's NASA. Yeah, she a boss, on God, got a bag up. X-Men was lame, no surprise, he ain't last much. She ain't never had no love like this. But she looking for a love like this. Come and put it on me, give me some I can miss. We can keep between us, everything tight lips. Yeah, we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Do it so good, I ain't thinking about no side piece. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Call me out. Yeah, my back been right. I done seen you looking at me and that ass real right. Tryna give you something good, I'ma make you feel nice. Tryna take you out the hood to a sea first fly. We be dancing on the beach, get the sand on your feet. Wind through your hair, warm in with the breeze. And we straight to my sheets, champagne and Belize. If you want a little pain, I can give it to you easy. Damn, baby, I could give it to you proper. Forget every other man, I want you. Damn, baby, I could do you how you wanna. Damn, baby, I could. And we ain't gotta tell nobody. I don't need much, all I need is your body. Say you like it rough, okay, give it to me sloppy. Doing it so good, I ain't thinking about no side piece. Have you ever loved someone so much you thought you'd die, giving so much of yourself? It seems the only way. Tell me what you want and I will give it to you. I will give it cause you call me out of left field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. You call me out of left field. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Fuck with a winner with a bag like this. Yeah, some love you never had like this. Call me out.
All right, guys, I will be back tomorrow. We are out of here.